Hey y'all! With summer in full swing, I thought I would show you guys some of the things that we do on our farm to help keep our poultry comfortable and alive through the heat waves that we are experiencing. In North Carolina, our weather, like the weather today was I think a high of 92. That's pretty typical for a summer day here. But we do have a heat wave where the temperature is going to be hitting 95 or 96 degrees with heat indexes probably over 100 degrees. So when it gets that hot, heat can be a real concern for poultry. We have lost birds in the past to heat, not very many. I have even lost 2 layer birds to heat because they were actually a little obese and had a lot of internal fat on top of it. But I'm gonna go around and show you some of the things that we implement on our farm to help keep our animals comfortable. So first we're going to go to our brooder. So young chicks do need to stay warm. The broiler chicks that we have now in the brooder are about a week and a half old. So typically if you follow any heat chart for chicks, technically people will say that they still require like 90 degrees to be able to get warm and help keep them healthy. So when the air temperature though is at 90 degrees and they are sitting here exposed to the sun, they'll be in the shade soon. This shade kind of works its way down as the day goes on. But with their cover, they are in full shade technically, but the air temperature can still be pretty unbearable. So what we do is I'll come over periodically throughout the day and I'll evaluate how I think the chicks are. So if you look at them, they're fairly comfortable. No one's really panting. You can kind of see a couple are trying to lay a little spread out there. That's a little indication to me that they are maybe a little warm, but really, there's a little bit of panting back there. So they're trying to stay cool. So what we do is I actually, during the day, I turn all of their heat plates off. The air temperature is more than enough for them, especially for Cornish cross. Cornish cross run hot compared to layer chicks. So these guys are like little furnaces with how much they eat and how fast they grow. So I turn their heat plates off to help reduce just an additional heat source that they do not need. Because the heat plates are off now, but before I did that, I did come out and just be sure that no one was like particularly hanging out under them while they were still on, indicating that no one felt that they needed that extra heat source. So heat plates off. They are in pretty much full shade except for that little strip there. But what we do is ventilation, we have found, is key to helping to keep birds comfortable. If they can get any amount of breeze, it is very beneficial. So to help increase the amount of ventilation that they get, we actually prop open their top. So any breeze hopefully kind of gets caught in there. When they are a little bigger, I will open it a little bit more. My concern with opening it up significantly is that we have a tree line that is right there. So that's kind of perfect territory for any hawks to sit in on a perch and kind of swoop in and get any babies if they could fit in there. So how we try to combat that is that I added these beautiful sparkly streamers. This is actually bird scare tape. So what that is in the small breeze, it actually reflects and affects the birds of prey's ability to hone in and focus on potential targets in this instance. So it kind of, hopefully the camera picks that up. But you see the breeze, you know, kind of moves it around and puts out a lot of reflection. So I've only been doing this season. So far, nothing negative has happened. I haven't lost any birds to a hawk going into my brooder. It is one of those things. It works until it doesn't. Hopefully we never get to that point of it not working. If we do get to that point, then I will adjust accordingly and potentially have to add a canopy maybe over the brooder. We'll do something. But so far so good. It's worked really well. And I've had 3-week-old chicks in the brooder during heat like this. And the older they get, the more fragile they get. So at least as far as weight or heat. So far so good. I will let you know if it ends up not working or if it continues to work really well. The other thing that we do is I freeze large water bottles, and then I put these in their water. So it acts as gigantic ice cubes just to help keep their water cool so that they aren't even stuck drinking warm water. So I kind of have a couple of sizes in here. So each broiler's water will get one. I'll probably put one in the laying hens, and then I will also put one in the turkey water. Our laying hens, the geese, our adult turkeys, and our turkey poults are fairly low maintenance when it comes to heat. As long as they have good ventilation, shade, and cool water to drink, they should do okay. So everyone's system is pretty open air. They get a ton of ventilation. They have plenty of shade in the form of their shelters or tree cover. And then for all of them, I will add those water bottle ice cubes to their waters on particularly hot days. So they all actually do fairly well. I swear, the boys know when the phone is out, whether I'm on a phone call with someone or apparently recording videos. I think there's gonna be a lot of crowing in my videos, y'all. I'm sorry, but it's probably gonna happen. These broilers are 7 weeks old. They're gonna be processed this upcoming weekend. But in this heat, this is pretty much the age and size of the bird where I worry the most. They just really have a hard time. As you can see, they're trying to lay as flat to the ground as possible. There's quite a bit of panting going on, not much movement whatsoever. They're just trying to stay calm and cool. So for these guys, what we do is our shelters for our broilers are all designed with removable sides. So it's actually the side on the top right there. So you can see on all 4 of these tractors, there are no sides on them. So again, the key for this is just getting as much ventilation to these birds as possible. So any breeze from any direction, they're gonna get some of it. The other beneficial thing of having removable tops is that I put them on top of their shelters to add extra shade cover to anywhere that may need it. So then my goal with that is I try and get their feeder under shade, and I try and keep their water under shade the entire time for the whole day, especially in the heat of the day. So they'll get ice cube, the giant water bottle ice cube in their water, as much shade as possible, and as much ventilation as possible. The other thing, probably the next 2 or 3 days when we're hitting these 95 and 96 degree days, what I'm probably gonna do is we have hoses and water that's run up to the pasture. So I am actually tomorrow morning probably gonna spray the 10 by 6 footprint of where the tractor will be pulled to tomorrow morning so that the ground is wet for them. So the key with having cool ground is that it has to have moisture. So with it being so hot, I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna saturate the ground for them. That's why they lay so low. They try and spread out on the ground as much as possible to create as much contact with the cool ground as they can. So I'm gonna do that for all of our chicken tractors tomorrow morning. The other thing that I do that's specific to our farm, a lot of people want to... Say hi, Goose. You want to be in the video? Yes. So a lot of people that raise broilers, what they do is that they will put about 30 broilers per tractor, and then they will move it twice a day. So I used to do that, but then what I decided I wanted to do is I wanted to actually understock my tractors. So I only put about 20 to 22 birds per tractor and I only move it once a day. So I do not force my birds in the heat of the day to ever get up and have to walk anywhere. They can just stay stagnant. They can just keep laying there and not have to overexert themselves, because it's just not worth it. I can't produce quite as many birds at one time, but that's okay, because my goal with my broilers is to get as many of them to processing age as possible, but to also have their life be as stress-free and easy as possible. I do not want to cause them any undue stress, and that generally will come before profit any day of the week. So again, for our broilers, lots of ventilation, shade, ice bottles in their waterer, and not having to do a dang thing except relax and stay cool. In a few days, our laying flock is actually going to be pretty spoiled. We are going to work them into the woods, where they are probably actually going to live permanently. So we're doing that for a couple of reasons. One reason is it's summer and it's hot, and I try and keep things comfortable. So they'll be moved into the woods here soon. They're actually going to kind of run along this and then up into kind of the front yard. The other reason is that because we're increasing production, our pasture, especially in the heat of the summer, there's kind of like the summer slump of pasture growth. There's a little bit too much pressure, I think, on the pasture right now, so I'm going to take the layers off of it. But it's kind of a win-win for them. They still have plenty of stuff to forage on. They'll be in shade all the time, so they're actually going to be pretty lucky. So that'll be a few more days, because they kind of have, as they continue along their path, they're in that paddock for one more day, then they're going to go to the paddock that's kind of at the top of the path here for another 4 days, and then we're going to swing them down and into the woods. So that's what we do for our poultry to help keep them comfortable through the heat of the summer. Shade, ventilation, cold water. But if y'all have any questions or think there's something that might work well on our farm, just please leave a comment below, and I appreciate it. Thank you.